Hi, I'm Simona Leroy, and this is the module about Step 3, the key features of educational activities, from the course presenting the PAF method for overcoming children's fears. In the previous modules about Step 1 and Step 2, I have explained how to access the heart of a fear and how to identify the levers that can be used to quickly take control over a fear. I have also highlighted how to evaluate your child's potential, especially his defense strategies. Now the time has come to focus our attention on the activities that you should prepare. In this module, you will discover the most important fundamentals of the PAF method, the key features of educational activities. It consists of a series of general principles, attitude, and ingredients that are necessary in order to guide you when you imagine, select, and adapt your educational activities and their goal. In step 4, when you will build the framework of your project, when you will set up the goals and the corresponding activities, it is important to follow and respect all these key features. These key features will allow you to design a solid project, a very effective one. At the end of this module, your task will be to make a list of actions that you want to propose to your child. It is very important to always check that these actions follow the key features of the PAF method. In order to help you accomplish this task, I've prepared a spreadsheet that you will find in Tools. You may use it at the end of this module. So let's start with the first chapter, General Principles of the PAF Method. In this chapter, I will talk about three important principles: partnership, stepping up the actions, and variety. The first principle I want to talk about is the principle of partnership. This principle is the foundation stone of the PAF method. It is a simple principle, easy to understand, but very effective. According to this principle, all activities, all action that you may plan in order to fight fear must be conducted in partnership with your child. Partnership means that you and your child act together. You join your knowledge, your talents, your skills, your hobbies, and interests. It is extremely important to value what both you have. It is a way to show your child you are good in this area and I believe in your talent. I rely on you. It is equally important to show your child that he can count on your talents, knowledge, and skills. This partnership will prove to your child that despite life's obstacles, together you can overcome them in a happy way because you can form a strong team, a team with many talents and skills. The partnership also means teamwork. You encourage your child to do whatever he can do by himself. You guide your child and help him only in the activities that he cannot make or do without some help. For example, you want to build a paper castle where you can move all the monsters from his room. If the child is able to draw, you have to let him draw it. When you build that paper castle, if the components are difficult to bind together, you show your child how to do it. If that task is still too difficult for him, you do it, but you let your child contribute with the easier parts. For example, he can arrange the glue, he can check if the paper has dried, so on. Your child must be part of the action. He is not a spectator who watches how his father or mother is chasing the monster. You help and support your child, but you do nothing that he would be able to do himself. You do not perform actions, tasks that he can do by himself. Everything that the child gets for free, effortlessly, brings no satisfaction, no self-confidence. The effort that the child will make is very important for him and his development. When the goal is proportional to the possibilities of your child, when he can reach that goal with some effort, then your child can be happy and proud of the result. The accomplishment of a challenge offers your child confidence in his forces and motivates him to go ahead. The second important principle of the PAF method is the principle of stepping up your actions. According to this principle, all activities, all actions that you may plan in order to fight fear must be sequenced, divided into steps, adapted to the capacities of your child. It is impossible to ask someone, especially a child who is at the ground level, to jump straight to the 50th floor of a building. Nobody can do that. Every advancement takes time. To get somewhere above, we need to climb step by step. We need to determine how we can climb to the first level and how go to the second level and so on. Stepping up, ranking up, dividing a project into multiple steps is not done arbitrarily. This process is based on a very good knowledge of the situation. The stepping up of activities is based on a very clear understanding of the starting point, on a realistic assessment of the potential of the parent-child team, and on a reachable goal. The main question, which will help you to divide your project into many steps, is what your child can do by himself, what he can do only with your help, and what he cannot do. To answer this question, you may use some of the information obtained in step 1 and 2. In your project, you should aim to have around 30% of activities that your child can do by himself. These activities will increase his self-confidence. 70% of activities should be activities that your child can do only with your help. These activities will stimulate his progress. These activities are the most powerful engine of learning. Learning is a progressive shift from tasks that your child can do only with help to tasks that he can perform by himself. After a while, your child will be able to do by himself what before he was able to do only with your help. That will be the time to propose him some new activities. For example, the child is afraid of darkness. You propose the game of cartoons on the wall. You place your hands in front of a lamp and project different shadows on the wall. At the beginning, you make the animals on the wall. The child can turn on the lamp and turn off the light. He can also tell what animal he wants you to make on the wall. When he is confident, only then you can move to the next step. Your child can put his hands in the front of the lamp and you try to help him create animals. Further on, your child will be able to create himself one of these animals that you showed him. Finally, he will be able to play this game alone or even make a show for his friends. So, go easy, step by step. Do not move from one stage to another until your child has gained enough confidence in himself. In the PAF method, the principle of stepping up also refers to how you will change or adapt your actions plan according to your child's defense strategies. As I said in the module about step 2, understanding how your child reacts to the fear, these strategies are running strategies, barricade strategies, and attack strategies. Our goal is gradually to guide the child from the running or barricade strategy to those attack strategies that use talent, creativity, and innovativeness. We cannot ask a child who is using running strategies to change and in one single day to apply attack strategies. We cannot ask a child who is afraid of the dog to sit alone in a basement and tell jokes about the dog. His fear is too strong and he is not ready to attack. Change requires time and patience. Progress is achieved step by step. Stepping up also means establish a list of priorities. Special attention should be paid to symptoms or manifestations of fear that are affecting your child's social and school life, his well-being. This is an emergency. You have to reduce the negative impact of these symptoms. For example, if a child does not go to school because he is afraid of the storm, the first action should focus on proposing the solutions that allow the child to go to school. A magical umbrella, a transport that protects him from rain. When you have reduced the negative impact, only then you can focus on fighting the fear of the storm. Another basic principle of PAF method is variety. According to this principle, all actions that you may plan in order to fight fear must propose various activities and combine manual activities, physical activities, artistic activities, so on. Use all means and methods that you have: dancing, drawing, storybook, dictionaries, visit museums, movies, games, music. Diversity in actions will allow you to attack the problem from several angles and will enhance your effectiveness. At the same time, it opens the child's appetite for exploration, for the new, for learning. Be creative. Turn this fight into a great adventure. Keep in your mind that the activities that you may propose must attack fear from different angles and involve mind and body. For example, in the case of a child who is afraid of the storm, the goal of step 5 is that the child can look without fear as the storm clouds are gathering in the sky. Proposed activities might include reading books that explain the different type of clouds, making picture of a storm cloud, inventing a story about a storm cloud, choosing songs that evoke a storm cloud and dancing on it, drawing clouds, doing a running race where every obstacle is cloud-shaped. Remember, children learn more easily when they act, when they use their entire body. Words, talking are not enough for a child who wants to fight fear. That child needs to act. He needs to symbolically show how he fought darkness and defeated it. In all actions, your child's body must be involved. For example, you read him a book about insects. When you are reading, your child uses only his mind. If you want to involve his body, you should hold him in your arm or caress him. In this way, the child's mind learns about insects while his body feels tranquility, comfort, and safety. Another example, you read a story about a fight with a monster. After reading, you can propose to your child to act together to play that story. Through this action, you involve his body. Another example, if you ask your child to draw a monster trap, he works with the body. In order to involve his mind, you may ask him to explain how the trap works. Variety also means that you do not focus on a single aspect of fear. You do not focus all activities on a single element, for example, child's evaluation capacity. To be effective, your project must have a holistic approach. This means that the actions you may propose must cover both intellectual and emotional development of your child. Those actions must improve your child's knowledge, his capacity of evaluation, but also it must enhance his self-confidence. You must not forget that the fear is the result of several factors: cognitive, emotional, and cultural. The most visible goal of your project is to help your child dominate his fear. But the most important purpose of the PAF method of your project is to help your child grow emotionally and mentally. You build this project, you create this experience, you make these efforts in order to obtain something more important, something indispensable for any happy and successful person. Patterns to overcome fears, but also patterns which enable to find the most viable solution in all difficult situations. So, you should propose a variety of actions to your child. These actions will stimulate the child on many levels and contribute to his harmonious development. It will increase his resilience. And now let's move to the second chapter of this module and talk about another type of key features, the ingredients of your proposal, of your action plan. Ingredients are all those things that are absolutely necessary in order to make your proposal, your plan of attack against fear, successful. The first type of ingredients that I want to talk about is talents, hobbies, skills, interests, knowledge that you and your child may have. I talk about this and I often emphasize this point because it is a key point. These ingredients can be used in all the activities which stimulate your child to learn something, to do something. These ingredients are a powerful engine to action. They unlock motivation, maintain constant attention, help your child make the effort, and bring pleasure. These ingredients turn learning into a game and fighting becomes a fascinating adventure. A moment of pleasure, a moment of joy makes it easier for your child to endure difficulties, motivates him, distracts him from fear, and helps his mind focus on positive and happy thoughts. A moment of pleasure brings a positive charge. For example, let's consider a little girl who is afraid of the dark but like princesses. Giving her princess bedclothes, princess pajamas, or reading fairy tale with princess before sleep can create pleasure and joy. It will stimulate that girl to desire to be in her room. It will motivate her to be brave. You and your child, you have the talent, knowledge, skills, hobbies which should be used. You love dancing. Turn the fight against fear into a dance. You like traveling. Turn the fight against fear into a trip. You like business. Turn the fight against fear into a business. Do not copy everything others offer in the fight against fear. Take the idea, but adapt it according to what you and your child know and love best. About the second type of ingredients, I have talked in the module about step 1, understand fear. In that module, I said that there are certain objects, situations that trigger fear, and there are others which diminish fear or can lead to its disappearance. These ingredients are easy to see and you can use them as leverage in the activities that you propose. For example, we take the case of a child who is afraid of monsters. Fears arise when he is alone in his room and when it's dark. Another ingredient that causes his fear could be an object which has hidden spaces. For example, a bed that has a space underneath a cabinet, a curtain. Other ingredients that can cause and maintain the feeling of fear could be the noises of the house that the child does not understand and which he considers to be the product of a monster. A spooky picture, a mask, or even some toys can trigger fear. On the opposite side, we have the ingredients that diminish fear. For example, in the case of a boy afraid of monsters, these ingredients could be the presence of adults, light, objects, toys, books, and certain sounds that are chasing away the monsters. It is very important to know that these ingredients are not universal. Each child has his own way of responding to an object or a situation. That's why it is very important to talk with your child and to observe him. And now we are reached a very important point. In the first step of your project, in the first activities, you must use all the ingredients that reduce fear and avoid exposing your child to the ingredients which produce fear. In the second phases, gradually help your child face the ingredients that produce fear, demystify them, reduce their symbolic meaning. For example, if the child believes that a monster produces certain house sounds, you can propose a sound game. During daytime, walk through the house with your child and together try to see what devices beep. You can start in the kitchen. First, look at all the devices and explain to your child why that device makes that sound. Play this game many times. A few days later, together with your child, you can record sounds made by different devices. Listen together with your child in your arms to the recorded sounds and try to guess which sound belongs to which device. Ask your child to imitate these sounds, to dance on them, to draw them. Ask him to do anything that he will do with pleasure and can make these sounds seem friendly. When the negative charge of this sound has been cancelled, only then you can propose to your child to listen to these sounds alone. The third type of ingredients is related to the participants. You need to involve other members of the family in this action. Involve the child's friends, people that he trusts and with whom he likes to play, his babysitter. When you involve other persons, you should take into account the hobbies, talents, knowledge of these persons. It is very important that they do not consider this action as an obligation, as something in which their presence is just decorative. They have to like the action proposed and they need to feel valued. They need to feel that they were invited because they have something valuable that they could contribute in the most creative way. As long as their actions do not increase the child's fear, give them a free hand. Let them come up with their ideas, their creativity. A problem approached from several angles is always easier to understand and solve. The presence of other person is important also because it produces emulation. An effort divided into 3, 4, 5 parts can be overcome more easily. A joy, a satisfaction, a success shared by many people increases, become bigger, more important. Let's move now to the next chapter, the attitude you need to have. In this chapter, we are going to talk about what you should do and what you should avoid to do. We will start by talking about the appropriate attitude. For your child, it is very important to have next to him a protective partner, an understanding one, a strong one, a guide. As I earlier said, it is recommended that the parents help the child, encourage him to do certain things, and the parents do nothing of what the child can do by himself. Encourage your child to do everything that he can do by himself. Watch your child with realism and confidence. Realism means to understand his weaknesses and to be confident in what he has best. You have to stimulate the child to contribute personally to the action. It is also important to understand your child's feelings and accept that his fear is real. Accepting fear does not mean that you should accept the existence of monsters. It is important to tell your child how you relate to that thing or situation. It is important to explain to your child your reality. For example, you can say, I never seen a monster. I do not think that monsters exist. I'm not afraid of monsters, but I heard that you are afraid of monsters. I understand your feelings and I will help you. I will never let you down. Say this with calm, serenity, and firmness. Do not forget that you are a model for your child. He listens to what you say and he copies what you do. Take care not only to what you say but also to your body language. If you say to your child, do this, I'm confident that you can do it, and you look at him with frightened eyes and a tense body, the child will be afraid to do that thing. For example, if you are afraid of insects, it does not make sense to tell your child that he should not be afraid of insects. He listens to your words, but he looks at what you do. Whatever you tell to your child, if you run in front of a bug, he will flee too. If on the contrary, when there is a bug, you are calm, you approach it with interest, you look at it with magnifying glass, you tell jokes, your child hears the calm words, he sees your serenity and your interest. All this will make him feel safe. If he observes that nothing bad has happened to you, he will try to copy you. So, in your words, in your attitude, in your actions, you have to be a good model for your child. Let's talk now about what you should avoid. First of all, don't ignore the value or try to extinguish your child's fear with sentences like, don't be a baby, clever children are not afraid of monsters. Never force your child to face the fear by using brutal methods or direct confrontation. For example, if he's afraid of the dark, do not close him in a dark room. These methods will place you in a role of an enemy and could produce significant trauma in your child. Do not use your child's fear as a punishment. For example, do not tell him, if you are a bad boy, the monster will come and eat you. If you use fear to gain obedience from the child, you will never be able to help him not to be afraid. A child educated through fear could become an uninhibited adult without any initiative, a man who will only be able to listen, to execute, but not to lead. Never endanger the physical or moral integrity of your child. In fearful situations, the danger is real, and it's important that your child is able to measure the level of danger by himself without plunging in the middle of it. Your child should have a healthy sense of caution and know his limits. We arrive at the end of this module about step 3 of the PAF method. In this step, we have put together all the ingredients, basic principles, attitude that you need in order to establish your activities and goals. At this point, you know everything you need in order to build your project, your framework. In the next module, we'll do it together. We'll go to the step 4, the final step, and we will build together the plan, the framework of your project.